Hi, it's Anton here. So I wanted to do a kind of a follow-up video to my last update and talk about some of the invisible symptoms of cervical dystonia and talk about them in the context of the impact they have on how it feels to live with cervical dystonia. Because the fact that there is invisible symptoms, to me, is part of what makes it hard for other people to understand what I'm going through. Now, took me a little while to fully kind of understand, but I have this real dislike of when people say you're doing well, or your neck's looking a bit better, or you're getting a bit more movement there. And that's exactly what happened after my last video. I got some, positive comments, and I get, anyone who's got this, people comment about your neck, whether it's either looking bad or it's looking better. And so I did get some positive comments about that. And it always stings a little bit when I get positive comments about the improvement that I'm having. Because yes, I am having some positive improvement, but it's just, that is all it's the visible bit of the dystonia. And it's just the tip of the iceberg as far as the symptoms and the experience of living with this. And I figured out there's a reason why I feel so uncomfortable with this, and it's because I find myself stuck between two personas that I don't want to be. And one of them is being seen as a complainer who just talks about what's wrong with them and is negative, and not wanting to be that even makes me think twice about making these videos, because I don't want to be seen as self-absorbed and just talking about my problems. I mean, the reality with that is the last thing I want is attention for the things that is wrong with me. I hate it when people see the symptoms of my dystonia, and it's more likely to make me not want to go out and not be seen than to be seen. So I guess that's kind of the opposite of the reality. But I could see how people might interpret that if I was to talk too much about the problems I'm experiencing. On the other hand, I don't want to be seen as a malingerer, and by definition, that's someone who pretends or exaggerates their sickness to avoid work or their responsibilities. Now, I did give up work because of the severity of my symptoms. It was really impossible to continue working, and I tried reducing my hours. But even when I was working from home and drastically reducing my hours and only working 3 days a week, I couldn't make it work. I just couldn't fulfill the functions of my job. So I had to give it up completely. And I guess one of my fears is that people might look at me and go, "Oh, you're looking better. Why can't you work? You seem to be able to function okay." And again, I don't want to be seen as that, when the truth is, what you're seeing in terms of improvement is only part of the symptoms of what I'm experiencing. So I guess both those things, being seen as a complainer or a malingerer, feel like, self-absorbed whinges, when I don't feel like I'm that, and I don't want to be perceived like that. And I imagine that there's some people who are watching who could relate to what I'm describing there. The thing about cervical dystonia is that it's not all about the visible symptoms. There is invisible symptoms, but it's kind of the disorder, I think, is a bit of a victim of the obviousness of its core symptom, which is so obvious anyone can see it. You know, when my head is pulling to the side, or there's, you know, twitching or whatever, different, you know, a little bit different for different people, but it's so obvious that anybody can see it without you having to explain too much to them. And on the other hand, if that symptom reduces and starts improving, anybody can see that. So, you know, I'll even have my youngest child can comment that things are looking better or worse. But the thing is, there is these other invisible symptoms. There's a category of illnesses and disorders which you would consider to be invisible illnesses, and an example might be mental health issues. For example, somebody could be experiencing major depression, major depressive disorder, goes by different names, and the symptoms of that could be largely invisible to observers, and you will not have any idea of the struggle and suffering that somebody is going through when they're experiencing that. And same with many mental health disorders and issues. Another example would be pain and chronic pain. Now, I know from myself, and I know many other people can live with quite high levels of pain, and until that really gets to the highest levels, that may not be obvious to people around them. The pain is very impactful on the individual, and prevents them from doing lots of things in their life, limits their life, but is not that visible to people outside. It's an invisible symptom. And there's many other examples of these things. With cervical dystonia, we've got to remember that it's a brain-based disorder. It's a neurological disorder, and the latest descriptions of it would be that it's a network disorder. There is a malfunctioning going on between the sensory input and the motor output, controlled by your brain, and the messaging that's going on, which leads to muscle spasms, and also muscle overflow, where you try and use one muscle and you get other muscles involved when they shouldn't be part of that action. But these things are happening in the brain, and there's multiple parts of the brain involved in the problem. And so it's not like one little part of the brain, it's multiple parts of the brain which are involved. And those parts of the brain are also implicated in other things like emotional regulation and sleep regulation and other things. So as part of the dystonia, you can have sleep disturbance and emotional disturbance, mood disturbance, just as symptoms of the illness, or they can be secondary symptoms. So the fact that the fact that cervical dystonia has disrupted my life so significantly that I had to give up work, that I had to lose my income, that I had to stop being the breadwinner of the family, that I couldn't drive anymore, so I couldn't socialize, so I couldn't go to the shops and pick up milk, or do so many things that were just part of everyday life. All of those things, that disruption to the things that are core to my identity, have an impact on my mental well-being and my mental health. So depression and anxiety and things like that can be secondary to the dystonia. Similarly, sleep disturbance can be a primary feature of the dystonia, but also at the end of the day, I try to go to sleep and my neck is at its sorest for the whole day because it's been working all day. The muscles fighting each other. It's hard to get comfortable. It's hard to relax. I also get restless legs, which is a common symptom of cervical dystonia. So it's hard to go to sleep, and my sleep is disrupted. And then when your sleep is disrupted, you get daytime fatigue and tiredness and low energy, and it compounds the problems of not being able to do things during the day. It's just, there isn't kind of like a this leads to this. It's like a two-way thing. One thing is causing the other. The dystonia is causing symptoms, and those symptoms are making the dystonia worse and making reducing your function on a day-to-day basis. Right. So, and then another thing sort of related to that low energy and fatigue is if you're taking medications to help with any of the symptoms of the cervical dystonia, they may be doing their job and improving the motor symptoms, improving the muscle spasms, but having side effects of causing sedation and tiredness and things like that. So, even when you're getting benefits from your treatment, there can be other consequences which reduce your ability to function. I would say also that there are cyclical factors to this whole disorder on many different levels. One is throughout the day, so there'll be times during the day when I'm at my best, and this is when I'm going to make this video. I couldn't have made this video a couple of hours ago because I wasn't up to it and I wasn't feeling good and I didn't have the energy, and I probably couldn't make it in a couple of hours, later in the day. So I'm choosing my time to do the things I need to do. And this is common for cervical dystonia and other disorders as well, where you have reduced energy, is you're going to pick and choose how you use that energy. Maybe I've only got 2 good hours, and maybe on a great day I've got 4 hours. But if I'm using 4 hours, then the next couple of days are going to be reduced in what I'm able to do. But the thing is, people are going, if I'm choosing those 2 hours when I'm good to go out and see people or something like that, then they're seeing me during my best time of the day. They're not seeing me afterwards when I go home and I'm exhausted and I have to sleep because it's worn me out. And same as this video, you're seeing me at my best. You're not seeing me when I'm just not up to doing this. So that's the day-to-day kind of cycle, and you have to be selective in how and when you use your energy. And it makes it and that includes just doing the basic stuff of having a shower and getting ready and doing the dishes, all the basic stuff. Then in terms of cycles as well, there's also treatment cycles. So if I'm having Botox every 12 weeks, then there'll be times in that 12-week period where things are at their best, which they are for me right now, and times when the Botox is having less of an effect, or it's wearing off, or it hasn't kicked in yet, or even that I'm having side effects from the treatment. So that has an impact as well. And all of these things, the day-to-day cycles and the quarterly cycles of treatment have an impact on how you can plan your life, how you can build your life, and the predictability that you need in order to be able to be successful in work and achieving the things that give you satisfaction in life. And that takes a lot of getting used to. So to wrap it up, I guess I would hate for anybody who cares about me to feel that I'm critical of them expressing care and concern for me. But I think it's important that everybody understands, and it's a reminder for me for other people who have other disorders as well. We all need to understand that the things that you can see are not necessarily an indicator of everything that's going on for a person. And so we can't make these assumptions that we know how well someone's doing. And if you base your judgment and your comments to someone on just how they're looking, then it either forces them to have to say, well, no, actually I'm feeling, really bad, even though you're seeing something different, or it forces them to just go, yeah, I'm okay, and it feels diminishing. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, and see you again soon. Bye.